What's up, you guys? Alright, it is currently the 14th of August, a little bit after midnight. Actually, it should be the 15th now. Yeah, it's actually the 15th locally. It's the 14th still at my house in California. So yeah, it's the 15th, yeah, just barely after midnight, 0023 local time. I don't know if I'm going to get enough flight right now. I need to turn right to get out of here, but I'm going to have to come out this way first. There's a truck kind of creatively parked right there that I can't, I won't be able to make my turn to clear without putting Helvig and the other guy who I was parked next to at risk of getting hit by either my blind side or my tail swing. So just do this kind of a turn. That's a little bit easier to do there. Definitely a much safer maneuver to do than what the quicker, well, what you would think would be quicker way would be. Right now we're at the Loves in Boonville, Missouri. We're getting ready to make a delivery to the Walmart distribution center in Moberly, which is about 60 miles away from here. You see on the map here, kind of probably give you an idea where you need to go to get there if you're not familiar. Going to be going to the east on I-70 from here over to Columbia, which is right smack in the middle of the state of Missouri on I-70. We're about as close to the center as you can, well, I always seem to get people arguing, that's not the middle of Missouri, it's close enough. I-70 in Missouri is 270 miles across, if I remember right, before you get into Illinois. So 135 would be the halfway point. Well, Columbia is the nearest city that is close to that point. We're actually going to be getting off at exit 127, I think, if I remember right. I've been here a number of times, but I want to say it's 127. 128, 127, something like that. But that's where we're going to be going, getting on northbound US 63 from right there, and then 63 will take us straight up to Moberly. Alright, just as a reminder, if you're maybe not super familiar with my channel, I always have chapters or bookmarks in the description. So if there's any point in the video where you want to skip ahead to a certain area of interest to you, or maybe skip past something that is not that you're not finding interest in, but you still want to see what else is on the video, you can use those to get to those points. All right. Whether it be you just want to see what Walmart in Moberly is like, even though I was just there a couple weeks ago, I think, something like that, or I should first give you an idea of what I'm going to talk about here. First, we're going to talk about what is, how did the route over here go from where I picked up? Where did I pick up from, if you're not familiar already? Perhaps you didn't watch my live stream video that I just posted, that I had up yesterday or day before, whatever it was. Of course, that was a little bit problematic itself because I was in a weak signal area much of the time, so I ended up killing that stream rather early. Also, I'm going to talk about basically a comparison of a couple of fuel programs that are contrast between Hirschbach and JCT drivers specifically. Because it's a common question that gets asked, and it did get asked again just yesterday, day before. People always want to know if, are they going to bring in a 99-cent fuel program at JCT? Yeah, because Hirschbach, they have, now, this is my understanding of it, so if you're a Hirschbach driver and you're more familiar with their programs there, go ahead and add on to what I have to say here, or correct me on anything I might be inaccurate on. But my understanding is that Hirschbach, they have two different programs there that you can run as a lease operator. One of them is the 99-cent program, and then the other one is the fuel surcharge program, akin to like what JCT does with its lease program. Now, regularly I get people saying, I hear people say, like, I wish JCT would bring in a 99-cent program. It saves you so much more money. I'm like, you're out of your mind. You don't have any idea what you're talking about if you're saying that, is what my thought is. And I'm going to explain why I say that as part of this video, as this video progresses, okay? But you can't make a good apple-to-apple comparison, all right? So Hirschbach, they have this 99-cent program for their lease ops. There are stipulations to it. Yeah, that is that you can only get your fuel at Pilot, Flying J, and Love's locations. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the only place you can get fuel from. But no matter where you get your fuel from, you're always paying 99 cents per gallon out of pocket. So it gives you a lot of stability. That's where the advantage of that program is you know how much you're paying for fuel no matter what. If you know how many miles you're running, then and if you're getting about the same miles per gallon on average, then you know what kind of fuel costs you're getting as well. Problem with that now, and also before I get to the problem with that, another thing about the benefit of that program is if you constantly run in areas where the fuel is naturally higher priced, i.e. anywhere more coastal or closer to the borders of the country, if you another way to put it, whether it be oceanic or another country's border. That's generally where the more pricey fuel is, especially California, but actually it's kind of a nationwide thing. Generally, if you're here in Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, I don't know, maybe parts of Kansas as well, they tend to have the best prices, fuel prices in the country, usually. And then no matter which direction you go from this region here where I'm at now, doesn't matter if you go up to the Pacific Northwest, you go over to the Northeast, up toward like Detroit or Chicago or whatever, or work your way up toward Canada in that direction, or you go to Florida or California, it doesn't matter. Everywhere else you go from this region is probably going to get gradually more expensive as you go, as far as fuel prices are concerned at the pump. All right, we're Hirschbach. Where's a lot of their freight? I'm not an expert on their freight, but I do know that I know they have a lot of trucks on I-35 corridor, basically running between, we'll just say, Des Moines, or I don't know, it could even be all the way up in Minneapolis, running all the way down to Laredo in Texas. Or they also run a lot of the upper Midwest because they're based in East Dubuque, Illinois, which is right on the other side of the state line from Dubuque, Iowa. And then I think they run a lot of the East Coast, Northeast kind of stuff as well. I don't know to what extent what their real bread and butter market is, but generally, they tend to run more in the outlier areas east of the Colorado Rockies, and I don't know, maybe more transitive with I-35 to some extent, I guess. I don't know, maybe if someone from Hirschbach's driving, a Hirschbach driver is watching this, maybe you can clear that up a little bit there. So, either way, if you're always in higher priced areas where you can't adequately take advantage of the FSC program and buying your fuel wherever you want to buy it from, shop around and get the better prices that you can get, then 99-cent program might benefit you more. However, you cannot make a good apple versus apple comparison between Hirschbach's 99-cent program and JCT's FSC program. The lease programs as a whole are entirely different. JCT's lease program, you have $120 per week truck payment all the time, no matter how many miles you run. And then you also usually are going to have a 26 cent per mile truck payment on top of that. So if you don't run any miles, you only pay $120 a week for your truck payment. But if you run a lot of miles, you're going to make larger truck payments. I think Hirschbach's lease program is more of the traditional variety, where where you have a fixed amount you pay for your truck payment every week. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is almost nobody has a lease program like JCT's. I believe Western Flyer Express has something pretty close, but virtually everybody else doesn't have anything like what JCT does. And even that, there are pros and cons too. But just looking at fuel only, okay? If you're one of those people, I wish JCT would bring in a fuel, or a Hirschbach would bring the 99-cent fuel program over to JCT. Might want to listen to this, because I beg to differ on that. I'm going to give you an example here. This load here that I'm under, I picked it up at the Walmart DC in Colton, California. I made 3 fuel stops on the way over here. The first stop was the Pride 19 truck stop in Salome, Arizona on I-10, exit 45. So this guy's doing 69, so we'll stay behind him. Alright, so I ended up buying, now that wasn't the best price fuel either. It was $4.40 per gallon there. Alright, speed limit's dropping here, so wasn't a very good price fuel. The national average price as of when I picked this load up was $4.23 per gallon. The new, the national average price just updated this afternoon, and I think it was $4.37 or something like that a gallon. It's up over $4.30 now. And well, either way, yeah, $4.23 a gallon, and I paid $4.40 a gallon for, what was it? Almost like 90 gallons of fuel or something like that. Let me pull it back up. Yeah, 94.59 gallons of fuel. It's a lot of fuel to be buying at above average price. And I want this to be a good example for you, as I did not effectively manage my fuel cost on this trip. And in spite of that, you're going to find here when I get through talking about this that I still beat the 99-cent program, even with a shitty managed fuel cost strategy on this particular trip. Alright, so JCT's FSC program is, it's basically every carrier has their own FSC rate that they work with, and they have basically it's the same formula everybody uses, but what parameters they use within that formula, what variables they use within that formula vary from company to company. Now JCT's setup is designed where if you make an assumptions here, right? If you are always buying your fuel right at the national average price, and you were always getting right at 7 mile per gallon fuel economy on your trips, then you are going to pay $1.30 per gallon out of pocket. Okay, compared to 99 cents per gallon, that doesn't sound very good, right? It sounds like it's shitty, and yeah, 99 cents definitely sounds way better than that. But wait, there's more. Oh yeah, there is more. Because I'm going to show you here with these numbers that at national average $4.23, these 3 fuel stops I made, the total cost that I paid for all of the fuel, divided by, or subtract the rebates that I got for the 2 in-market, in-network, whatever you want to call it, purchases that I made en route. Divide that by the number of gallons total that I purchased along this trip. It averages out to $4.25 per gallon. 2 cents more per gallon than the national average. So, it's not an effectively managed fuel strategy. Alright? So, just on that alone, you're, again, probably apt to think, oh yeah, then definitely you would have been better off with the 99-cent program. Au contraire. Because like I said, there are two variables in there that factor into there, and one of them is fuel economy. You're paying $1.30 per gallon on the assumption that you're only getting 7 mile per gallon economy. I've driven about 1,700 miles of this trip so far, and I'm averaging 8.3 miles per gallon on this trip thus far. And there's hardly any hills left at all here. And what you have here in Missouri is not much to speak of for hills. I'm going to have some rolling hills here on I-70, but then going up to US 63, mostly flat, just a tad bit of hill in a couple spots. Pretty much it. I'm not gonna go far off from 8.3 miles per gallon by the end of this trip. I might go to 8.2, 8.4, something like that. Even as it is, the last 87 miles that I've traveled has been 8.4 mile per gallon average. All right, so if we plug that in now. There's another formula I'm going to give you. I know you guys don't like math, but if you're going to be a lease operator, you really need to know some math, all right? If you're going to be in the business of having your own business, if you won't even call it that, and not a glorified company driver, then you need to know some kind of math. If you really want to be effectively running a business, you have to be willing to crunch numbers, whether you like it or not. Because you might be asking for this 99-cent program and then thinking, oh yeah, I'm saving a bunch of money on this. Oh, no, you are not. So like I said, I got 3 fuel purchases on this trip. $4.40 a gallon. I bought 94.59 gallons. The second stop I made. Now I had to make a detour on this trip. Because when I was actually starting that second leg, or just about to start it, James Ewing, a lot of you guys know him. He had sent me on Facebook something about multiple vehicle crash on Interstate 40 in eastern New Mexico, in between Klein's Corner and Santa Rosa. It was completely shut down, and by the time I got to Albuquerque, where one of my decision points was at on, do I just, because there are a couple of detour routes I was considering. One of them was to take I-25 up from Albuquerque to the north and get off in Springer, New Mexico, and then take US 56 across from there, and then work my way eventually pretty much over to Emporia, where I-35 and US 50 meet up. Or the other option I was considering was to keep going east on 40, and then if I got to Moriarty, the plan was I was going to get to, if it hadn't opened back up by the time I got to Moriarty, I was going to stop for fuel at Lease's Travel Center on the east end of Moriarty. Fill up my tanks there at a good price, at under less than $4 a gallon. Then I was going to go to Klein's Corner, head south on US 285, take that down to US 60, then take US 60 across to Vaughn, New Mexico, and then take US 54 from Vaughn back up to Santa Rosa, and then get back on 40 at Santa Rosa. That would have got me around the entire enclosure area that was affecting me. I ended up opting for the I-25 to US 56 route, which I almost never do, by the way. But yeah, my original plan, because the fuel I bought in Salome was enough to get me to ACAL Travel Center in Santa Rosa, or just west of Santa Rosa, really. I think it was like $3.83 a gallon or something along that line over there. Yeah, it was a good price, and a lot of JCT drivers like to stop there for that good reason. Well, I couldn't get to there, so Lease says is the next best option in Moriarty. But now that I'm detouring off onto I-25, that's no longer an option for me either, because Moriarty is east of I-25. All right, so I head north on I-25. Start looking up where can I get fuel at with what range I have. Yeah, I figured I could get to maybe Las Vegas, New Mexico. And it turns out there's a Love's right there in Las Vegas. I was also needing a shower, and I was figuring I would probably get to Las Vegas no matter what and stop for a nap, because I was doing a split shift, if I remember right. And I was going to take a shower there while I was at it. And I pondered, because the best price fuel that I saw along that route there was what was that place called? It's right off of US 550, just west of I-25. I've been through there before. It's in the town of Bernalillo. I've been to that truck stop before. It's a small one, or gas station with truck fuel, whatever you want to call it. But it's a little bit further away from I-25 than I really felt like doing. And on top of that, I was just in hurry up and get my ass to the Las Vegas mode. I didn't feel like making miscellaneous stops in my truck that were only not even 100, maybe 100 or maybe it was 120 or so miles. I don't know. It would have been okay, but I tend to prefer to do somewhere more like the 175, 200-ish mile or so range per stop. I'm not one of those keep my left door closed and stop only for my 30-minute break and then run the rest of the shift out. I usually will take a couple of stops along the way. So, but in this case, I was just in go mode. I think I only made the one stop in Las Vegas, and that was it. From there, I ended up, after I got my nap and my shower, I ran non-stop, I believe, from there to Liberal, Oklahoma, Liberal, Kansas. Then finished my shift there in Liberal. So I could have gotten better price fuel than I actually got on even that part of the leg, on that leg of the trip. I paid, I think, $4.35 a gallon or whatever it was at that Love's over there in Las Vegas. And I could have gotten fuel for less than $4 a gallon at that place in Bernalillo. So again, not an effectively managed fuel program there, or fuel strategy for this trip. My final stop was at the Easy Go, whatever you call that place, on I-35, the Towanda, or whatever you call that, Service Plaza, not too far, about 10 to 15 miles north of Wichita. That's technically a Love's now, but it still shows as, it's still badged as an easy trip, I think is what it's called. The exit 127 is what we're going to do. It's 4 miles away. What did I pay on that one? I was also a bit. I don't remember the price per gallon, but long story short, the three of the purchases combined added up to an average of $4.25 per gallon on the fuel. But there's a formula you can use to kind of figure out what your out-of-pocket cost actually is. Because it factors in your fuel economy and what you actually got stipend with on the fuel surcharge that you got paid. Alright, so speaking of that, at $4.23 a gallon, the formula that JCT uses works out to 41 cents per gallon. Basically, you just take the national average price, subtract $1.30 from it. That's JCT's variable. Other companies will use some other number besides $1.30. Whatever you get resulting from that, you divide that by 7, and that gives you your fuel surcharge rate. Okay, so this other formula that you can work with to figure out your out-of-pocket cost is you take your actual pump price for that particular stop, or if you take the average like I'm doing here, I averaged out to $4.25 per gallon and what I actually spent. And and what I do is I subtract the product of the fuel surcharge rate of 40. Why do you keep doing 52 miles an hour, Saya?
Hey, we're back, guys. I slowed down about through here. There's a couple city locals running around.
That's fine, but yeah, that was a 60 zone. I don't know if you're Saya, but I'm not sure why you dropped down to 50. about as fast as I was, so I didn't really see a reason to go around him. But if he's going to sit here and do 50 miles an hour, I'm not staying behind him. But now I got another problem here because my exit's coming up, and he's kind of finally deciding to speed up now. Go figure. Alright. Yeah, now we got a double problem here with this. I'm going to have to speed it up here to get around this guy. Because I need to get to my exit, and these guys are going to be problematic. See, Sia is slowing down from 60 out. I was okay with running 60. That was the speed limit for the construction zone. But why go only 50? I don't know if the guy who I just got around right now was causing him, Sia, to do 50, or Sia just decided to dawdle because maybe he was the guy talking about the cops on the radio. I don't know. Alright, but anyway, going back to that though. Alright, so you take the fuel surcharge and multiply it by your oh shit, fuck, that is my exit. I thought the next exit was mine. I'm not used to that. I thought it was an overpass I normally use, not an underpass. What is this shit? I'm gonna have to use the next one. No, yeah, it is the next one. I'm like, I don't remember it being an underpass. It was an overpass I swore I usually always used. Yeah, it was just like a regular diamond interchange there, and that had a roundabout, it looked like, over there. So I'm like, this can't be right. Okay, anyway, going back to this. You take the fuel surcharge, multiply it by your miles per gallon. Whatever you get from that, subtract it from your average price that you paid, or your pump price that you did pay at the one place. And what you end up with is what your out-of-pocket cost per gallon is. Okay, so 41 cents per gallon per mile, FSC rates. Multiply that by 8.3 miles per gallon, and I believe that's the number I used. Might have been 8.2, but I want to say it was 8.3. That should come out to $3.40. So 425 minus 340 comes out to about 85 cents per gallon is what I paid out of pocket. So, badly managed fuel strategy for the trip. And I'm on the FSC program. My fuel economy on this trip still allowed me to get a better than 99 cents per gallon out-of-pocket cost, in spite of having, in spite of paying a couple of cents per gallon more than the national average for all of the fuel that I bought on this trip. Let that one sink in. Now, what happens there if I end up doing a more effectively managed fuel strategy on a trip and get the same kind of fuel economy? Okay, well, the last trip I was on, let's wait for this light to turn green and then we'll discuss that. Okay. Yeah, so see, my onboard nav was trying to get me to get off at exit 127, and I was like, I don't normally go that way. I use this exit normally here, so it kind of threw me off. Alright, so the last trip that I did from Bryan, Texas to Riverside, California. Like this trip, I did 3 fuelings on the way there. I'm going to have to pull up these numbers here because I did not memorize those quite as well. Okay. Alright, so first trip, the first fueling that I did was at the 1.9, I guess I would call it, in Fort Worth. That's actually right around the corner, right on the other side of Interstate 820 from the JCT drop yard in Fort Worth. It's a little shithole gas station. I basically stopped at, I think it became a 190 later on. But it's right there where Blue Mound Road and the eastbound service road for Interstate 820 meet up, if that helps you at all. That was, and I did hit it down from Denton to Bryan to pick up. Well, actually, I did hit it from Louisville, which is just not too far south of Denton, but I did my break in Denton. All right, now let me get transitioned over here real quick first. All right, 65 zone. All right, we're good. Okay, so I maxed out my tanks there in Fort Worth because it was a good price. I think it was like 380 something, or I don't know, 389 or 390 something a gallon, whatever. You know, it's a decent price. It's below the national average. So that was the first stop I made. I made a second stop. It was at an all subs, if I remember right, but I don't clearly remember where I got it at. I honestly forget where exactly I bought that fuel at, but whatever it was amounted to 86.36 gallons and a total cost of $333.27. Final stop I made was at the Loves in Eloy, in Arizona. That was not where I planned on stopping for fuel. But I was kind of one of those one-stop shop situations there. I needed reefer fuel. And on top of that, I had a reefer unit concern. Because I was on that trip on just after I got past Benson, Arizona, my reefer unit decided to shut off around the 291, 293, whatever it was, mile market there on I-10 in Arizona. It takes me about 10 to 12 miles, whatever, to get to the very next exit I could get off at to check it. This guy's doing 67. Oh, now he's accelerating. No, maybe not. Anyway, yeah, my original plan, because of the time of day that it was to bypass Phoenix via Interstate 8 and Arizona 85 and get back on I-10 up there in Buckeye area. And, you know, kind of right there between, just on the outskirt of Buckeye. However, again, that reefer unit concern, I had a couple of alarm codes that caused the reefer unit to shut off. I go out there and the reefer unit's already, the internal temp was already at 30 plus degrees when I had it set for plus 10. And it had only been, it was only off for like 10 miles because I actually watched the light. I was looking in my mirror when the light went from green to amber. So I know that was when it took a dump on me. And I reset I cleared the alarm codes and waited to, I ran it with it from there because I know that the nearest carrier facility that I'm going to see is in Phoenix. So I just keep rolling now with the reefer like that. It started back up and gave me a green light again. But I was on alert. Hey, it gave me an amber light with the alarm codes. Now I got to be on alert that it might do it again. So the route I intended to take around Phoenix was no longer a good option. Now, considering the situation, it was a higher risk situation to me. So I stayed in the path to Phoenix, but chose not to stop in Phoenix. I chose to stop in Eloy, and I was needing a reefer fuel anyway, so I just went ahead and got tractor fuel while I was there. Not the best price, probably. So, or actually, I know it wasn't, but it wasn't that bad a price for what was available to me at the time, and what I had the range for. All right, so whatever the case, all of those fuel purchases averaged out to $3.83 per gallon is what I total paid. Now, I averaged out to $3.83. Plug that into that same formula that we're talking about. Subtract the FSC multiplied by fuel economy part, and that was $3.40 a gallon. But now we're talking 43 cents per gallon out of pocket cost. That's less than half the out-of-pocket cost than Hirschbach's 99-cent program would have been if it was under JCT's format. Yeah, or under JCT, but it was same with the, I'll still use the 99-cent. So, in my opinion, no, I don't want anything to do with the 99-cent program. I think anybody who's worth their mettle and doing math should also know this. In this truck, I rarely ever get trips where I only get 7 miles per gallon. I usually always get at the very least 7.5. And I've had a number of trips that were up like 8.5-ish. I've even had some really light loads that I ended up with even closer to 9 mile per gallon average. Those are some really nice economy numbers there. So you can really save a lot by saving yourself on the fuel economy. Big time. Alright, so that's where you might want to think about some those two, all those different considerations there. If you just want something more simple, you don't have to. You don't want to have to do all that kind of math or worry about stuff. It's where you're going to get your next fuel from. Or maybe you just want to this levs here will work. Whatever. I don't really care what the pump price is. Okay, go for it. 99-cent might be it's a more headache-free solution for you as a lease op if that's how you would rather manage your business, if you will. But you can do better for yourself by running fuel surcharge, in my opinion. Alright, now Hirschbach does have an FSC program, as I understand, but I don't know what their parameters are, so I cannot comment on that. Because it sounds like most of the drivers who do lease over there on the Hirschbach side all seem to opt for the 99-cent program. I don't know. I really can't compare how Hirschbach's FSC program really does compared to that of their 99-cent program because I don't know what their parameters are for that formula and if they have any other stipulations as well. I believe you can get tractor fuel anywhere if you're on their FSC program, but I could be wrong. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and run high speed the rest of this way up to Moberly from here. It's already going to be plenty long enough video. Probably already easily at least 30 minutes now, even before I'm even at the damn customer. So, alright, we'll resume this when we're getting off here at US 24. Guys, we are in Moberly now. We're half a mile away from our exit here, US 24. Yeah, it'd be a clover leaf here, and then a couple of left turns after that to get onto the street that Walmart DC's on, and then a right turn into the DC. Alright, if you guys saw my last time I was here, I went to this truck stop over here. I originally planned on making it out here earlier during the daytime, but there was a particular reason why I did not. We'll discuss later on in this video. On the way out of here, we'll talk about that one. Alright, so we got a 2 a.m. appointment time here. Of course, normally with Walmart, it's they allow you to show up 1 hour early, and that's it. So I usually plan on getting here right at about an hour early. Who's this guy here? Alright, so we're going to make this next left turn here and right in front of the Walmart store. And as you see here, there are trucks parked here overnight. Usually are. I've parked here myself before. I mentioned last time I was here, though, it's kind of hit and miss with when they, allow or don't allow. I've heard, I see a JCT right here. I think I see a set. No, it's not a JCT. One of those is definitely a JCT. The other one, they look like it has the same kind of back end on it, but it's not. Alright, let's see how this one goes here. Last time it took a little bit longer than I expected. My buddy Daniel said they normally are pretty quick here with him. But last time I came here, no, I didn't even get a doctor right away. I think I had like a 2 a.m. or whatever it was appointment time then also, but did not get into a doctor until about 3:30, something like that. And then, but once I was in the door, it wasn't super long. Gosh, I think I ended up leaving right around 6 o'clock in the morning that day. So yeah, I ended up getting some detention pay out of that one. Get up here to the stop sign. I need to get myself, this guy's already coming out, but I gotta get myself out of driving status, ideally. Alright guys, we're to the dock in now. I actually did get a doctor assignment this time. Let me get this set up for you guys to have a better view of. I'm gonna be knocking into door 127. If you didn't see my other Moberly delivery video recently, or any of the other ones, because I have been here multiple times, all the doors are going to be to our right. Not this right turn here. Go all the way down to where that front end loader or whatever that tractor thing is that you see up ahead, right where that guy's turning from now. We're going to make a right turn where he's at, and all the dock doors will be right there on the right side. 127 should be, I think, about halfway down. If I recall, I don't think it's, I don't think it's very close to the receiving office. I usually do a U-turn style setup here. If you get lucky and end up with one, actually 127, I think it might be the same door I was in last time. So I might have a straight back setup using the lane, not the Swift drivers, or I think it's the Swift drivers that they use to go over to where they get their, I think they get their fuel and def from, or whatever. So I think I might be in luck with that, but it's going to be right next to the stairs, more than likely. One of the stairs going in for the, for the dock workers to come out or go in and out, whatever. Yeah, 137, 136. Should be right by this first drop trailer you see here, because I I swear it's the same dock door that I was in last time I was here. Yeah, it is indeed right here next to the stairs, and right in between that trash compactor thing, or I don't know if I'd call it a trash compactor. It's a compactor, but I think they use it for cardboard. We'll go ahead and come straighten it out right there. Get my doors. We'll get my doors now while I'm not in anybody's way. Alright, let's get backed up now. Looks like we're good to go there. Don't see anybody driving up or walking up. Shouldn't be anybody walking up here. There's nobody. Well, for one, we got to park in the bullpen over there. Two, there's nobody. Well, I don't know. Those are all dropped. And then again, it's all drop trailer anyway. Alright, yeah, we're lined right up there, it looks like. So if you're not careful here, your trailer door will get, it has a risk of hitting the rail for those stairs, but I can't really quite see where the line is actually. Yeah, it's a square type of line there, but I can't see where the one, the side of it is that corresponds to my side of it. I think I'm okay there. Alright, we'll go ahead and get disconnected and head over to the bullpen. Alright, we'll get the kingpin disconnected. Fifth wheel, whatever you want to call it. Is it disconnected? Seems like it's acting up on me now. Let's see if I can pull forward real quick. I don't think it's disconnected though. Oh, it actually is. Okay, I didn't think it was because wasn't getting an alert on here showing that it was disconnected. But yeah, I'm definitely pulling away from the trailer. Waiting to get zero pressure or on my load gauge there. Alright, we're good to go there. Get that utility light off also. Alright, now we're going to bobtail back over here. We'll give you guys a little reminder if you're a new driver, or if you're a future trucker, maybe this might be good information for you, right? When you go to disconnect a trailer or hook up to one, let me see if there's any room over there in the normal spots first, and then if there aren't, I'll come back over here, but I don't know. Alright, so when you're hooking up to a trailer that you've not been hooked up to before, it looks like we might have room over here next to this blue hotkey or whatever he's called. I recommend you swing the, pull your landing gear handle out, and then just swing it across the ground like a pendulum, like a, that way, because a lot of times water gets trapped in there if it's been rained on at all. Otherwise, if you just start cranking the landing gear like normal, and if there's water in there, you're gonna find out the hard way pretty fast. It's gonna get all over your clothes, and you'll have to. Well, I mean, it won't necessarily have to do much. It just depends on how much water is there, but. So, yeah, just shake it back and forth like a pendulum, and that's all there is to that, all right? That should help keep you from getting wet when you don't want to be wet. All right, I'm going to get checked in right over here to the left, and hopefully it won't be too long, but I don't even really care. The longer I stay here, the more detention pay I get. And I got time to work with, and we'll talk about that on the way out of here, too. All right. Alright guys, we are done unloading now. It's just after 4 a.m. Actually, I got called about 10 minutes ago, whatever. I'm not rebooting my tablet here because it said my session timed out or whatever. And that guy you just saw walking back, yeah, he's a little bit on the racist side. Alright, there's another JCT over here. So he's in there getting his bills at the same time as me. I don't know what he went back in for just now, but he had to go, he was getting his bills, and while he was in there, the lady tells him that he's got to reject, he has rejected product because they sent the wrong, I guess the product was the wrong items that got sent, basically. It happens. So what this guy do, he's makes some stupid comment about it probably being a bunch of Mexicans who can't read and write doing it. I'm like, seriously, dude? Like, how stupid can you be? You don't know who the hell is actually doing it or why that happened. Alright, that was a nice gentle thing there. Alright, let me get this finish hooking up and all that, and we'll be out of here. Alright guys, let's get out of here now. We're good to go here. Verified the trailer is empty, and I got my load lock still. So, time to leave. Alright, I was able to get myself a little bit of rest there, but I got woken up by them calling saying, hey, you can come get your bills. But why am I in driving status? No, I should be in yard move status right now. Yeah, I am. It's like, I know I put myself in yard move status. Alright, so what, I had a 2 a.m. appointment time. I got here, what, 1:30ish or something along that line, and right around 4, a little bit after, getting out of here. Technically not really eligible for detention pay. Even though I just sent my empty call a couple minutes ago, yeah, my phone record shows that they called me at 3:56, so that's just right before the point where they would start having to get charged for detention. Alright, the OTR on the right. But, as usual, I do not go over the scale if I don't need to be on their scale. Don't need to put wear and tear on their scale. Ooh, just barely missed it with the tandems there. Not like it would have mattered, but... like a different guy in there, I think, than the one I checked in with. Yeah. I just didn't take that. I didn't see close enough. Alright, let me get doors shut and checked out here, and we'll be out of here. Alright guys, we are ready to leave here. Alright, I do have a pre-plan. I think there was something I was also going to talk about with why I didn't end up here in Moberly earlier today. Yeah, so I ended up stopping in Boonville to get a couple of tires replaced. The right front inner was leaking audibly. Turned out there was a spot where I couldn't see that it was down to 1/32 anyway. And the right front outer, it had a couple of sidewall cuts on it. Now, sidewall cuts themselves are not really a problem as long as the steel cord isn't visible at all. But I ended up finding out from the guy there at Love's that I guess they'll actually take a tread depth gauge and measure it. And if it's more than 4/32, I think he said, which is 1/8 of an inch. If it's more than 4/32 deep, they usually they'll highly recommend replacing it, because I guess at that depth it's more highly likely that the steel is actually exposed. But I usually go by, can you actually see the steel? But alright, so but yeah, it might be a good tidbit of information that it was something I learned as well. Alright, well, I'm going to head over to Blue Beacon in Kansas City more likely, so I'm set up. I got my map set up to route us in that direction. Let's say, should be okay after this guy. Alright. Okay, so to get to Kansas City, I'm actually going to go ahead and stay on US 24 right here. Actually, it ends up being 241. And then take State Route 10 and State Route 210 across over to I-435, or I think that's 435 over there. I've been this way before. It's rare that I end up going that particular way, but yeah, I figure I'll head over to Blue Beacon, get a trailer washout over there, and probably have to get myself some fuel in that general direction too. I don't know that I'll actually get it at the Flying J that's right across the street from that Blue Beacon, but if the price is good enough, I might. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, that's I could also stay here. Now I'm not due for, wait, no, can I stay? Yeah, I'm okay staying here. Yeah, I was having a hard time telling if this was a right turn only lane or a straight through lane. Looks like we're alright, yeah, 24 west, right. So I do have a pre-plan. Now, also, but before I get to that, going back to this tire issue. I had intended to get those tires addressed, because I got there at Boonville yesterday morning, well, whatever you want to call it now. I don't know, about 10 or, yeah, I think 10 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And had I have gotten the tires changed in a more timely manner, I was going to continue over to here to that truck stop we just passed by right now. And, let's see, double check. Right, yeah, 45 zone here. And I could have started a possible 34-hour reset in conjunction with the delivery. But Love's didn't get to me until, I think it was a good after about 4 p.m. So I had already been there for like at least a good 6 hours plus, I think, by the time I got called into the bay. Unfortunately, so at that point I was like, you know, I might as well just stay there, and then I'll just run it in from there. And then it turned out I got a pre-plan while I was still parked there anyway, so it ended up working out. I have a pre-plan picking up at the Tyson facility in Olathe, Kansas, same place I picked up from last time I came out this way. And then that same video, you see that I ran into my buddy Daniel over there. Those aren't my high beams, dude. Nice try though. That happens a lot, because I'm at a higher level than him, and either my headlights point upward, or I'm just sitting at a higher level than him, than them, and they think that I'm alright, County Road JJ right here. And they mistakenly think that my high beams are on because of the way my headlights are actually pointing. Okay, so yeah, I'll be picking that load up and I'll be going back to Southern Cal. We'll talk more about where in SoCal, I guess, when we do the pickup video for that, alright? I'm going to try to keep this a little bit short to the point, though, otherwise, because they had most already plenty to talk about with the content earlier. So, y'all know what happened there now. We're just going to go across 24, State Route 10 and State Route 210. You don't want to take 24 all the way into Kansas City. Like I mentioned on the last time that I was out here, there is a low clearance bridge on 24 just on this side of the Kansas City area there. I think it's 12 foot something clearance if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't want to be having an encounter with that bridge, so, and I already know about it. And I know for sure that 10 and 210 are a good truck route. Actually, when I team drove with somebody, when I was a rookie, a particular co-driver I had was actually from the Kansas City area, or had a history in Kansas City, and he was very well aware of that 10 and 210 was a good truck route, and actually it was a good bypass around that low clearance bridge too that I was talking about. So that'll be the route we're going. Alright, so once I got there, the Blue Beacon is right off of the 435 freeway at Front Street, just on the northeast side, I guess I would call it, of Kansas City. That's where we're getting washed out. Maybe get fuel right next door at the Flying J, and then work my way straight down to Lake, which is 20 miles or so, I guess, roughly south of Kansas City. Alright, that's all. The late pickup isn't until tomorrow morning. I don't have good hours to work with. I'm running on recaps, and I do have 1 day of shit recaps, not even 2 hours coming in, so not reloading until tomorrow morning is not a bad thing, really. So it gives me a chance to recap at least some time to work with. Connection lost. Screw you. Alright, that's what's going on. That's it. Alright, I'm going to let y'all go, and alright, we'll see you guys a little late on the next one. Thanks for hanging out and watching. We'll see you then.